The couple's therapy was supposed to save their marriage after Amanda's affair. Instead, when Dr. Phil opened the psychiatrist's report from her dead therapist, it revealed Amanda hadn't been cheating. She'd been diagnosed with a disorder so rare, she was physically incapable of feeling love. And she'd known for 14 years before she married him. Michael's hands gripped the armrest so tightly his knuckles had turned white. Beside him, Amanda sat perfectly still, her face carefully neutral. Not sad, not guilty, just blank. "Tell him," Michael said. His voice shook. "Tell him what you did." Amanda's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "I had an affair. 6 months. It ended 3 weeks ago." Dr. Phil leaned forward. "Amanda, you say that like you're reading from script. Where's the emotion? The remorse?" "I feel terrible," Amanda said. But her face didn't change. Her voice stayed flat. "Do you?" Michael's voice rose. "Because you don't look terrible. You don't look like anything. You haven't cried once since I found out. Not once." He turned to Dr. Phil, desperate. "She doesn't cry. She doesn't get angry. She doesn't. She's like a robot." "I'm not a robot," Amanda said quietly. "Then what are you?" Michael's voice cracked. "Because the woman I married, the woman who said she loved me, she wouldn't do this. She wouldn't cheat and then sit here like she's discussing the weather." The audience murmured. Someone in the back whispered cold. Dr. Phil studied Amanda carefully. "Amanda, before this taping, you sent me something. Medical records. A psychiatric evaluation from 2009. You want to tell your husband about that? Or should I?" Amanda's face went pale, the first real emotion she'd shown. "I didn't think you'd. I thought you'd keep that private." "Why?" Dr. Phil asked. "If it explains what's happening here, don't you think Michael deserves to know?" Amanda looked at Michael for the first time, and in her eyes, something that looked almost like fear. "If I tell you, you'll leave. You'll hate me." "I already hate you," Michael said. Then, softer, broken, "But I also still love you. And I don't understand how both those things can be true." But that wasn't even the worst part. Dr. Phil pulled out a thick folder. "This is from Dr. Helena Carr, a psychiatrist in Boston. Amanda was her patient from 2007 to 2010. Dr. Carr died in 2011, car accident, so she can't clarify anything in these notes." He looked at Amanda. "But you can." Amanda's breathing had changed. "Shallow. Quick. What does it say?" Michael asked. Dr. Phil opened the folder carefully. "The diagnosis is complex. Dr. Carr called it severe attachment disorder with emotional recognition deficit. It means I don't feel love," Amanda interrupted. Her voice was hollow. "Not the way you do. Not the way anyone does." The studio went silent. Michael's face went blank with confusion. "What are you talking about? You said you loved me. On our first date. On our wedding day. Every morning for 11 years. "I know what the words are," Amanda said. "I know what they're supposed to mean. I know how to say them, so they sound real." She looked at her hands. "But I don't feel them. I never have. Not for you. Not for anyone. That's not." Michael shook his head violently. "That's not possible. You cried when your mother died. You laughed at my jokes. I performed," Amanda said quietly. "I watched how other people reacted to things, and I copied them. Dr. Carr said it's called emotional mimicry. I learned to fake it so well, even I sometimes forgot it wasn't real." Michael stood up, sat back down, stood again. No, you're lying. You're making this up to excuse the affair." Dr. Phil held up a hand. "Michael, there's more. The report says this condition likely stems from severe childhood trauma." "Amanda, you want to explain that?" Amanda's face was stone. "My biological parents kept me in a basement for the first 4 years of my life. No human contact except when they fed me. When I was rescued and adopted, I couldn't bond. The developmental window had closed. Dr. Carr said my brain never learned how to form emotional attachments." Michael was crying now, full body shaking. "So when you said you wanted to marry me, when you said I was the love of your life, I thought you'd be safe," Amanda said. "You were kind, stable. You didn't ask too many questions about why I was so calm. Dr. Carr said I should tell you before we got married, that you deserved to know what you were getting into." Her voice dropped. "But I was afraid you'd leave, afraid I'd be alone. So you lied, Michael whispered. I told you what you wanted to hear, Amanda corrected. And I tried. God, I try to be a good wife. I cooked your favorite meals. I remembered anniversaries. Her voice caught. I studied you. Learned what made you happy. And I did those things because even though I can't feel love, I can understand value. And you had value to me. Michael's head snapped up. Past tense. Amanda looked away. The affair wasn't what you think. Dr. Phil leaned forward. Explain that. His name is David. He's a researcher, studies attachment disorders in adults. He contacted me after reading one of Dr. Carr's papers. She'd anonymized my case for a journal. He wanted to understand how people like me navigate relationships. Amanda's hands twisted in her lap. He didn't expect me to perform. Didn't expect me to pretend. For the first time in my life, I could just exist, without the exhaustion of faking emotions I don't have. Michael's face crumbled. So you weren't cheating on me. You were escaping me. I was escaping the performance, Amanda said. Not you. But that wasn't even the worst part. Michael thought the affair was about sex or excitement. He was wrong, because what Amanda said next, about what she actually needed from the affair and why she married him in the first place, would reveal a truth about their marriage that was somehow worse than simple betrayal. Drop a comment. Can you blame someone for lying about love if they're literally incapable of feeling it? Dr. Phil pulled out another document. Amanda, there's a journal entry in here from 3 weeks before your wedding. Written to Dr. Carr. You want to read it? Or should I? Amanda closed her eyes. Please don't. Michael needs to hear this, Dr. Phil said gently but firmly. He read, Dr. Carr asked me again if I'm sure about marrying Michael. She says I'm using him, that it's not fair to let him believe I feel things I don't. But what choice do I have? I'm 31. People expect you to be married by now, to want a family. If I tell them I can't love anyone, they'll think I'm a sociopath. But if I marry Michael, sweet, trusting Michael, I can have a normal life. I can have the house and the routines and the safety of looking like everyone else. He'll never know the difference. And isn't ignorance a kind of kindness? The paper trembled in Dr. Phil's hands. Michael's face had gone white as bone. You married me because I was easy to fool. I married you because you made me feel less broken, Amanda said. And for the first time, her voice cracked. Because when you looked at me, you saw a person, not a case study, not a damaged thing. You saw someone worth loving, even if I couldn't love you back. But you can't love me back, Michael said. You just said it. You're incapable. I don't know. Amanda's voice rose, the first real emotion breaking through. I don't know if what I feel is love or just habit, comfort, appreciation. Dr. Carr couldn't tell me. She said my condition is so rare, there's barely any research. Maybe what I feel for you is love, just expressed differently. Or maybe I'm exactly what you think I am, a hollow person wearing a mask. Dr. Phil's expression was grave. Amanda, in your sessions with Dr. Carr, did she ever suggest you were a danger to others? That this condition made you manipulative or cruel? No, Amanda said. She said I was adaptive, that I'd learned to survive in a world that wasn't built for people like me. She said, her voice broke completely. She said most people with my condition don't live past 30. They kill themselves because the isolation is unbearable, because watching everyone else connect in ways you can is torture. Michael was crying silently now. So what do I do? Do I stay married to someone who can't love me? Do I spend the rest of my life wondering if every I love you is just performance? I don't know, Amanda whispered. I don't know what's fair to ask of you. Dr. Phil's phone buzzed. He looked at it, frowned. Amanda, David is here. The researcher. He's backstage. He wants to speak to both of you. Amanda's face went rigid with panic. No, he can't. He's already here, Dr. Phil said. The door opened, and a man in his 40s entered. Thin, glasses. He looked at Amanda with something that might have been concern. You didn't have to come, Amanda said. Yes, I did, David replied. He turned to Michael. You think she's a monster. I need you to understand she's not. You slept with my wife, Michael said, his voice raw. Don't tell me what I should understand. I didn't sleep with her, David said. It was never physical. Michael blinked. What? Amanda looked at the floor. I told you it was an affair because that was easier for you to understand than the truth. Which is? Dr. Phil asked. David spoke carefully. Amanda and I met in a support group for people with severe attachment disorders. She was the only other person I'd ever met who understood what it's like to. He paused, searching for words. To be aware you're supposed to feel something and just not. To spend your whole life acting in a play everyone else thinks is real. Michael's brain was short-circuiting. So you were what? Emotional support. I was someone she didn't have to lie to, David said. Someone who didn't need her to be something she's not. And what about me? Michael's voice was broken. What was I? Amanda finally looked at him. You were the person I wanted to be real for. Even if I couldn't. Dr. Phil sat down heavily. David, you have this condition too? David nodded. Diagnosed at 17. I've never had a romantic relationship. Never will. Most of us don't. We can't give people what they need emotionally, and it's not fair to pretend we can. He looked at Amanda. Which is why I told her not to marry you, Michael. But she did anyway because I was lonely, Amanda said. Because I wanted to believe I could be normal. That I could make it work if I just tried hard enough. Tears, actual tears, were falling now. And I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. You deserve better than someone who had to study you like homework to know when to smile. Backstage, Michael sat with his head in his hands. Dr. Phil sat across from him. David and Amanda were in a separate room. I don't know what to do, Michael said. How do you stay married to someone who? He couldn't finish. Who cares about you in the only way they can? Dr. Phil finished. That's the question, isn't it? Whether what Amanda feels, however different it is enough. Is it love if she had to learn it? Michael asked. If every I love you was a translation from something else? I don't know, Dr. Phil said honestly. But I know she didn't have to tell you the truth. She could have kept performing. Let you believe the affair was simple infidelity. But she gave you this, he gestured to the folder. Because maybe, in her way, that's what love looks like for her. Honesty, even when it destroys the illusion. Michael wiped his face. Do you think she's capable of being faithful? Of choosing me? I think she already did, Dr. Phil said. 11 years ago. And every day since. The affair, if you can even call it that, wasn't about finding someone better. It was about finding someone who understood her. That doesn't excuse it, but might explain it. Michael stood. I need to talk to her. The screen faded to black, then back in. Dr. Phil's voice measured. Michael and Amanda are still married. They're in intensive therapy, together and separately. It's not fixed. It may never be fixed. Cut to a photo. Michael and Amanda at a coffee shop. They're not touching, but they're talking. His face is open. Hers is trying. Dr. Phil continues. Michael says he's learning to recognize Amanda's version of love. The way she remembers he doesn't like cilantro. The way she texts him when she knows he's had a hard day. Small things that she could ignore, but doesn't. His face fills the screen. Is that enough? I don't know. But sometimes love isn't a feeling. Sometimes it's a choice. A translation. An effort that looks different for everyone. He pauses. Amanda will never feel what Michael feels. But maybe, just maybe, she can show in a language only he can learn to read. Here's the question that's been haunting me. If someone told you they couldn't feel love the way you do, but they chose you anyway, stayed anyway, tried anyway, would that be enough? Or is love without the feeling just an elaborate performance? Because Michael's still deciding. And I honestly don't know what the right answer is. Drop yours below. And if this story made you question what love really means, wait until you hear about the woman who married 3 different men over 15 years and didn't realize they were all the same person using different names. That's next.